I remember being through school, and even elementary, middle school, and high school, and just basically putting all my eggs in one basket, having one friend that I clung to, and that I was like, this is my one friend. And then it kept happening that my one best friend would move away over and over again. And then I had to try to make a new friend, and it was really challenging. And I remember feeling that, like you were saying, that fear and waiting for people to pursue me. But I did eventually learn about fighting for friendship of, okay, I have to love myself, and I have to accept myself and know that there are people in my corner, so I can put myself out there. And continually do that, put myself out there. And have I been rejected by friends that I thought might be cool? Yeah. And did I get through it? Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing, is just continually being okay and knowing who you are inside, and it's okay even if they don't respond the way that you think that they should.
Yeah.
We all come alive. This is the good life. Soak in the good life.
Hi, Living Waters family. So glad you are joining us for another Tuesday Tea Time. So today I've got some amazing women with me, and we're going to be talking about what it means to fight for and cultivate relationships, specifically with other women, but just friendships in general. And so we've looked at all of you guys and just been floored by your ability to like connect with different people and have long-lasting, substantial relationships and friendships with people. And so we thought, how fun would it be to just gather you guys and ask a few questions about what that's looked like, because I know for some of you it comes natural, for some of you it's something you've had to choose to fight for, and to fight for friendships. But we wanted to hear from you guys and maybe get some pointers and tips for how to like practically fight for friendships and find friends of our own. And so before we get too far into it, do you guys want to go around and just introduce yourself super briefly, maybe who you are?
Sure. Yeah, totally. I'm Emily. Hi, Emily Jacobs to be precise, and I've been going to Living Waters for 12 years. I don't know, something like that. I don't know.
You lose count.
I've lost count, but I'm happy to be here. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, so I'm excited to dive in.
Yes.
I'm Autumn Peterson, and I'm actually fairly new to the community. And so actually just probably a few months new, and yeah.
It's awesome. Thanks for being here.
I'm Andrea Southmaid, and I'm also a veteran here, probably like 17 years. And I really love this topic too.
Yes, I'm so excited. So then just getting into it, what has it looked like for you guys? What's the journey of like finding friendships? What's that been like for you? And that might span years, you know, as like a young woman needing friendships, or like what does that look like for you now? But I don't know, just like how have you fought for friendships? How have you found people that are just your people?
Well, I think like you hit it on the head with it being a long process, and I think so often we want it to be really quick, really easy, like we crave friendship, and so the fact that we have to fight for it in various ways can be really hard. When I first moved here, I was young, newly married, and like ready for friends, and just thinking it's just gonna happen, and it doesn't work like that. And if you would have told me 10 years ago that I would be here speaking about it now, I wouldn't have believed you.
Wow.
I would have laughed in your face. I was so lonely for so long, and I felt like I was doing all the right things, trying to meet people, and it just didn't click. And now looking back, I can see I was holding myself back. I was hoping to be invited to things or like to have people reach out, but wasn't really proactively putting myself out there because I was afraid. And I missed out on so many relationships then because of that. And it just can feel so hard to put yourself out there. So that was a big hurdle for me in just having friends and being new somewhere. So I don't know if if that's relatable.
Totally. Yeah, I remember being through school, and even elementary, middle school, and high school, and just basically putting all my eggs in one basket, having one friend that I clung to, and that I was like, this is my one friend. And then it kept happening that my one best friend would move away over and over again. And then I had to try to make a new friend, and it was really challenging. And I remember feeling that, like you were saying, that fear and waiting for people to pursue me. But I did eventually learn about fighting for friendship of, okay, I have to love myself. And I have to accept myself and know that there are people in my corner, so I can put myself out there.
Yeah.
And continually do that, put myself out there. And have I been rejected by friends that I thought might be cool? Yeah. And did I get through it? Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing, is just continually being okay and knowing who you are inside, and it's okay even if they don't respond the way that you think that they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that surprise you,
Yeah.
right? And you're like best friends with.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you would
I
never
never
know.
would have known that.
Unexpected.
Yeah. Yeah. What about for you, Adam?
For me, it's been, I feel like, different in each season of life. I feel like with the ups and downs of life, I feel like friendships have molded in those seasons, if that makes sense. So sometimes it's been very natural and organic, and I feel like I'm like you, I desire friendships. I desire to be around people. But some seasons of life, it's just not been very easy for me to fight for those friendships, because sometimes life gets hard. And I feel like in this season that I've been in the last few years, that's been the case. I've really had to like fight to press in and move into those relationships, knowing that that desire is there, but there is also a difficulty in doing that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, like what you're saying about seasons, is sometimes when we do find friendships, we almost hold them too tightly, or like are afraid of them evolving or changing or shifting, and just getting a slightly looser hold on that, and realizing that some friendships are only meant for a season, and new ones will come in even though we can't always see it.
Yeah.
So that can just be hard to do, because you're like, I have
That's
this precious
huge.
friendship,
Yeah.
and oh my gosh, please don't leave. Like, the lowering the stakes a little bit, and just releasing pressure off of yourself, and like what you were talking about being okay just who you are, and not how you appear to others, or just being comfortable and confident works both ways, and it loosens the pressure in some ways, and then also gives you that confidence to approach new friendships.
Yeah.
And that's important too.
Totally is. Kind of like one thing you were saying too about the unexpected friendships. Since I was a little kid, I've always sought friendships with people that were maybe on the outer edge, you know, and just didn't quite fit in, and or maybe they're just super shy. I've always just been like, you are fascinating, and I want to get to know you, and I kind of feel like I found this treasure. And so I think sometimes we tend to think that we want to be friends with that person that has all the friends.
Yes.
And we all gravitate towards those kinds of people. But to seek out people, that's one thing that I've really learned and fought for, is friendships with the people that are not just putting all of themselves out there all the time. They're a little bit more guarded. Maybe they've been hurt, and then when you get to be that trusted friend for them, that is like such a great honor, huge honor. And to those people that are a little bit more reserved have just so many things to share. And I find that when they feel comfortable, they usually talk more than I do, which is pretty crazy.
It's impressive.
Pretty impressive.
They've got a lot of built-up thoughts. Yeah, no, that's so true, and I think that's like so Jesus too, to like pursue someone that doesn't naturally catch your eye, or like everyone wants to be around. Like you always want to be around the cool person or the person with all the friends, but to like go out of your way and say like, maybe I don't have anything to gain, or maybe I'm gonna like find this gem of a friendship, but I'm gonna like see you and I'm gonna acknowledge you and I'm gonna like engage you in this moment is huge for someone who probably needs it.
Yeah, and like
Absolutely.
when I moved here and I felt like everybody else has friends.
Yeah.
Circles are closed. I'm desperate for a friend, but nobody else needs one. And to have somebody like that who opens up their circle and says like, hey, I see you.
Yeah.
Hey, let's be friends. Or like, I'm interested in you. I remember one time when we were doing the like, at church, when it's like, hey, say hi to your neighbor and the next whatever, you know, the thing everybody loves to hate.
I actually like that. I'm the weirdo.
Because it can be so uncomfortable when you're that person with no friends and you're like, okay, here we go. I have no one to say hi to or whatever.
Or when they do it and everyone just turns to their friend.
Yes.
You're like, wait, this is supposed to get to know someone.
Exactly. And I can so vividly remember being in that space and the first time somebody seeking me out and being like, oh, hey, Emily, like, it's nice to see you again. I remember like going home, like crying to my husband, like, somebody acknowledged me during the church, like, meet and greet thing today. And he's like, oh, honey, it's so good, you know? But like, it matters if you have a circle to open up and to find those people who don't have a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so huge. I know, Andrea, you've done that for me. So thank you. You're so good at doing that.
Thank you. I love hearing stories like that. I love it because when you've experienced it, you realize how important it is, and then you want to do that for others. And you want to seek out people and like trying to do your best to like, I try really hard to remember people's names and just go up there and just calling people by their name. And like you said, hi, Emily, you know?
It's huge.
Remembering somebody's name and going up to them and saying, I'm so glad you're here. It doesn't take a long conversation, but just to be recognized and noticed can change a person's day.
Yeah. Or years later.
Yeah.
So
No joke.
that's amazing. So then for like someone who maybe the thought of like going out of your way to pursue someone like we've been talking about, or seems scary or risky, or even just the thought of like maybe speaking to someone who's lonely watching, who's like, I don't have friends, but I desperately want friends. Like, what's something that you guys would say, or what's a practical step that you would encourage someone who's wanting friendships to step out in?
I'd say start small. Like, that desperate want and need for friends can grow so huge in our own minds that we limit ourselves and we label ourselves. I'm shy, I'm introverted, I'm number 327 on the Enneagram, wing 20. Like, you know, like these things that we used to learn about ourselves, we also like can limit ourselves. Like, just because you're introverted or shy doesn't mean you're incapable of making friends. And so start small. Start with somebody at church where you're like, hi friends. We're like, oh hi. Just, hey, I'd love to get to know you more. Would you like to have coffee? I can guarantee you about 99.9% of the time, they're gonna say, yeah. And then go home to their husband and like, oh my gosh, so-and-so came up to me at church today. You know, like it makes a difference. And just a coworker, whoever, just say hi and go to coffee.
Yeah, that's so good.
Because likely they're feeling that same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Low stakes.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Everyone wants friendships. Everyone wants deeper connections. We're made for it.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. I was thinking a practical thing. Sometimes I think just talking to God, and I don't know if that's really practical. I guess that's more spiritual. Like just listening to Holy Spirit. And there's been times where maybe I needed to talk to a friend, or sometimes I just suddenly somebody came on my mind. And I think this could be if you're seeking a friend, or if you're you have some friends, but I think just really being attuned to Him, and like if somebody comes across your mind, don't hesitate.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate to reach out. And there's been so many times where somebody will come in my mind, and I'll just send a random text. Hey, how's it going? Thinking of you today. Or, you know, message them on Facebook. Something like little, nothing huge, not a lot of pressure. Are you okay? Because you just can't, you know, nothing pressuring. But it's amazing how many times people like respond kind of really in a positive way. And I realized that, oh, wow, they really needed somebody to reach out to them today.
Yeah.
So I think that can help if you are finding it difficult to find new friendships, to just pray about it and not just automatically go for the person that just seems like the most fun and exciting, but to pray and maybe God can highlight somebody to you that can be that true lasting friendship. I've had a friend since 4th grade, and I've never lived barely in the same state.
Wow.
And just keep pursuing each other and keep pursuing that friendship, and it's amazing, those lifelong friends.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I love that you brought that up, like about praying about it, because I feel like we're in the season that God has had me in. It was basically through a prayer, and it wasn't actually like reach out to someone. He literally gave me the word move. And so I basically through a series of, I was kind of in a really like broken place in life. Like I didn't have a lot of capacity for pretty much anything. And I remember just crying out to him one night and being like, God, I don't know what I need, but I know that you do. And he just kept telling me move. And so like over a series of times, and that's where I, met you, but like over a period of time, I figured out it didn't mean move to Hawaii or anything like that. It meant like,
darn!
Yeah, I know, bummer.
Medford, Oregon.
Yeah.
Right? Practically Hawaii.
It would be nice, right? But actually, he gave me a gift of something that was even sweeter, and that was so I started moving at the gym. So I ended up going to drop gym, and God just took me through this season where he just like started like healing me from this simple, where if I would have just questioned what he was saying, or if I would have hesitated or anything like that, and somehow even in that season he gave me that little fire to actually do that. Like I totally know that was from him. But that's where I just know that like it didn't start right away making friends, like it didn't even look that way that I was like fostering friendships, but all along this little word that he gave me was literally cultivating something that I didn't even have. I didn't even have an idea of what that would be. And slowly I just kind of kept moving in that place. Like I just kept going, okay, Lord, where are we going next? What are we doing next? And that's where a lot of my friendships right now have been made. And so it just seemed like a kind of an impractical, not impractical, like it didn't seem like the likely place that I would make friendships, if that makes sense, So I just was so thankful that like even way back then he was like, here, I've got this in store for you. And just I think it was neat how he did that.
That's awesome. I love that. I don't know if any of you guys can relate. I am naturally, and I think it's an excuse. If you use this as an excuse, stop it. I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
It's like, it's true, but it's a lie too. Like for so many years it held me back, saying like I'm an introvert, or like, and then it allowed me not to be vulnerable with people. Right. And so I think even like little things where I'll find a commonality with someone, I'll be like, oh, you like cooking? I want to cook with you. Like, let's cook. Yeah. And just see where it goes, or just put feelers out there. But that is like, for so many years, I would have never said something like that because I'm an introvert. Mm-hmm. But it was really just, I'm scared to be known, and I'm scared to be rejected. Exactly. And so I'm scared that this person thinks I'm crazy or not cool enough, or no one would want to spend time with me. And so we hide behind these like labels of who we are. Mm-hmm. But I just want to encourage you ladies, if you use that as an excuse, I've been there. Like there's no judgment, but I just know that there's so much on the other side of that. Like so much richness and friendships that can be had if we like weren't scared to put ourselves out there a little bit, and not in a desperate way, but just in the like an awareness of like, if I'm feeling this way, if I'm wanting friendships, I know other people are too. So I found it helpful to like find commonalities with people, or like I'll pick up on something and be like, oh, you like to do that? Let's go do that. Or like me and Andrea go for walks together.
I was going to talk about that too.
Andrea's like the master of walks. She walks with like 20,000 people a week.
I love going on walks. So if any of the people watching today or any of you guys, a little backstory is I do have 7 children. And so I value my friendships, but I can't put my friends in front of my kids. You know, that's really tricky. So sometimes I think we may struggle with finding time.
Yeah.
Because I definitely, my kids are all really needy too. They're not like, you know, even tonight, they're like all hanging on me. Like,
don't leave.
Guys, seriously, it'll be like an hour, you're fine. But finding something that I'm doing anyways, like I need to, like the drop gym, I need to move, I need to exercise, I need to walk, and that's what I love doing. And finding friends and who also have that shared interest. And walking and talking gives you a really simple thing that you're doing, kind of takes the pressure off. I love doing coffee dates, but it's kind of some pressure too to just sit there and look at one person and talk. Whereas when you're walking, you're just both kind of looking ahead and you're walking and, oh, look at that cool house if you don't have something to talk about. And there's been a lot of people that I found out lived near me, and we just start walking together.
Yeah.
It's easy and it's part of my life anyways, and it gives me exercise, and it doesn't really detract from my time with my children, so I'm kind of able to pursue a friendship and health. So that is something that has been nice, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it's important too, like when you're going on a walk date or a coffee date or whatever, to actually schedule it. Like, I think the time just slips by so quickly, and like your intentions are really, really good.
Yeah,
of
let's
like,
do that
let's do
sometime.
that. And then 5 years later, you're like, oh, let's do it. It's like, no, it's only going to happen if you make it happen, and if you actually put it on the calendar. And like, it's not going to happen unless you do that.
Yeah.
So following through.
Yeah. That's huge. That's a good pointer. Yeah.
I agree. And I think some friendships have different needs. Have you guys noticed that? Like, I have friends that I am in contact with every single day, and we hang out constantly. But I also have friends that I feel incredibly like heart and soul attached to, but maybe we talk once every other week on the phone. And but it's interesting to me how that can be. There's the friends that you basically walk through life with, and you're with a lot. And I think, kind of like you were saying earlier, taking the pressure off of, okay, if I'm not spending this much time, and I love it when I have friends where we're both busy and we understand that and we just love each other anyways. It's like, okay, I know you return my call when you have a chance.
Yeah, totally.
Not taking offense
Yes.
is a huge, not just assuming they don't like me because they didn't call me back right away.
Yeah.
I have like 5 friends that are terrible at texting me back. They might listen and know who they are. And it's like, I could either get really mad and think, oh, they're not really my friend, or I can just be like, they're busy and they're going to text me back later. And that's what I choose to do.
Yeah.
And we all
you're not,
do it. Like,
you're not the only one they do that to. Too. Realizing that. Not taking things like
it's
that
true.
personal.
Don't take it personal.
And I think when you don't take offense, you like think of different ways to connect, you know, like, so like I have a friend that she's not great at texting back and that kind of stuff, but I started to learn that like face to face was great, you know, so it was really uncomfortable in the beginning for both me and for her to like just show up, but I would, like, I mean, I would just grab a coffee and I would pop by her house and I'd just be like, and I remember one day, like, I showed up and she was not in a place that she wanted somebody to show up. And I was like, you know, I basically, she opened the door and she's like, I'm not really ready for people today. And I said, I'm not people. And I walked in and I gave her a hug, and it really like started our friendship because it was just, you know, it was just necessary. She actually needed that day. And for me, I actually needed it too, because I needed to be bold, you know, because had we not done that, like, I think we would have always stayed at a distance.
And it's so cool how you're like, I'm not here for a show, I'm not here for a clean house, or like your kids to be all perfect. Like, I'm here for real life, like I'm here for you. And I think we crave that, and it's hard, it's scary to like let someone into, you know, the other end of that is like, now you've given someone permission to show up on your mess. But it's powerful, because then that's like, those are the people you know love you for you. And not who, like, what you do. Or how perfect your life is or whatever, because that's just a myth.
And that's really what it did. It created a friendship that we didn't have to we didn't have to put on the show. We didn't have to have makeup on. We didn't have to, you know, we could just be like, you know, dropping things and all this stuff and the kids running around all over the place. Like it really did foster a friendship that we could just be real, you know.
That's amazing.
So
I love that.
I think too, we're like so inundated on seeing other people's friendships on Facebook, on Instagram, or like even people we don't know when we're following on Instagram. It's like brunch, and it's like they might have real friendships, sure, but that's not what every friendship has to look like. It doesn't have to look like this beautiful mimosa morning. It can look like showing up for your friend and saying, no, we got this. Like, this is who we are as people.
I love that. Not comparing. Not trying to look like that other friendship. Women, sometimes we do too much comparing. Let's be free from that.
And that different friendships will have different levels, you know, and like you're saying, there's some friendships where you talk all the time every day and you would literally give them a kidney. And we're not meant to have 20 friendships or like 40 friendships like that. You know, it's okay to have just the base level carpool our kids together friendships too. Like not all friendships are going to be mega intimate and releasing yourself from trying to make it something it was never meant to be.
That's so good.
That's
Ladies,
true.
Gosh, all of everything you've shared has just been so powerful and so good, and I know helpful for me, and I hope helpful for you ladies watching. So thank you so much for being here and sharing just your journey a little bit, but then the wisdom and the insights and the tips for how to make friends. I know, especially in this year, it's been hard for people, and so what you guys shared is super valuable. Thank you so much.
Thanks.